Okay, so if you are watching this video, it's because you were absent on Wednesday, February 19th. Here's how you set up your first entry. Hello, if you're watching this video, it's because you were absent on February 19th. So I want to show you how to start your annotated bibliography. And let's back up for a moment. What are you using all this research for? Well, we have a mock trial coming up where lawyers are going to argue for or against the passage of Senate Bill 25086. I think by now you've probably annotated that and clicked and clunked your way through it. And so you might have an exit ticket about whether or not you support the passage of that bill. So the first entry that we're going to write in our annotated bibliography is a summary of that bill. Let me show you what an annotated bib looks like in the first place. So here I am on Schoology. If you're in my 3A class, this looks very similar for your class. I'm going to go into the annotated bibliography folder. I'm going to pull up an annotated bibliography I did a couple years ago when my class was looking at hate crimes. So it's going to look really formal. And what we're preparing you for is to do something like this in college. We were hearing from college professors that this is a way to show research without having to write a 15-page research paper. So I think in the end, while this is a lot of work, you'll see the value of not having to do the whole research paper. And I understand you are writing a research paper in world history. So you'll want to put a full heading on it. The nice thing is we're going to show you something called Noodle Tools. And Noodle Tools formats the entire thing for you. So it's called a bibliography because it's a listing of all of the sources that you found. And it's annotated because it has your thinking after each of the citations. All right, so this resource is available. You might want to refer back to it often as you're writing your own. The other resource I want to show you in this folder is the checklist. And this is just to make sure that each of the entries you do are meeting the requirements. All right, the first place we're going to start is on Noodle Tools. You can access your Noodle Tools by going through your My Cherry Creek tiles. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new project. And I'm going to call it social media. I'm going to call it new, as I already have one started. This is just for this demonstration only. Then you're going to click on MLA, as that's what we use in English. And you're going to click on Advanced. Go ahead and hit Submit. All right, so now that you see it under your project titles, your dashboard, click on it. And so now up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see something called New Source. So we are going to go find the actual Senate bill that you read previous to this assignment. So I'm going to go to a new tab in my Chrome, and I'm going to type in SB 25086. You're going to get really familiar with that number. And I'm going to pull up a digital version of the article that we clicked and clunked through. Have this available. So now a lot of what I can do is copy and paste over from this site. So this was on a website. This is considered a state bill or resolution. So the name of the container website, basically the website putting out this information, is the Colorado General Assembly. You can skip publisher as it's the same thing. URL, we're going to go grab. You can just click on today's date. It'll fill it in for you. The title of the bill, protections for users of social media. It was introduced in the Senate. It's Bill 25-086 in the state of Colorado, year 2025. It's introduced. It's working its way through both our state house and maybe our state representatives. House of Representatives, excuse me. If you're curious about how bills work, I was so thankful that a student in my 3rd hour class found me this resource. So if you don't have, you're probably not going to take government till senior year. So if you're curious about how bills pass in the first place, you can click on this document and get smarter about how this bill passes in the first place. Anyway, I just wanted to show off that resource in case you're interested. All right, back to Noodle Tools. So the day it was introduced was January 23rd, 2025. Okay, so that part is done for you. I would recommend hitting save often, as this does not automatically save for you. All right, then you want to click on, oh, you know what we never did? If you would like to share your progress along the way, you can always go back to projects, hover over this plus sign. The reality is, since you're kind of catching up from your absences, is that I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to give you a lot of formative feedback unless you come in and work with me. And I am available this Thursday after school in the library. I stay till 4:30. So realistically, that's when you're going to get some formative feedback if you're struggling. Otherwise, you honestly can skip that step. Back into our project. Okay, so now we have the Senate bill cited. We need to go write about it. So I'm going to click on the ... edit. I'm going to scroll down till I see this big box, and that's the annotation. Now, annotation, remember, doesn't just mean put a little thinking in the margin. It means write a summary. In this sense, annotation means a summary of the Senate bill. And for that, I would remind you that there is a checklist to follow on Schoology. Basically, you're writing a 5 to 13 sentence summary in your own words. Please do not have AI do any part of this for you. Please do not plagiarize. You're going to be submitting this to Turnitin for 25 points. And so anything plagiarized will get a 0. And then I want to, for this entry, have you use one direct quote straight from in this case, sometimes it's an article. This case, it's a bill. Because sometimes it's just better to capture the integrity, the language of the bill. And then what you're going to do is after that direct quote, you're going to put the author's last name in parentheses. So the author, I'm using the first senator that authored the bill, this Lisa Frizzle. You just need to put her last name. So for instance, say you are looking at your annotations and you're like, you know what, I really didn't understand what this portion of the bill really meant. It would be hard for me to put that in my own words. So that might be the part you end up using as a full direct quote. And then you would put Frizzle's name after it. Okay, so that's helpful if you want one of your sentences to come straight from the bill. The other 4 sentences should be your own words. And what most people did is that they just looked at the bullets and they decided to summarize 4 of the bullets to get to their 4 sentences. Okay, so that is how you do entry 1 of your annotated bibliography.